Welcome to the Quarter Sword channel. We are the Jesters. You are?
I am Ace of Swords.
And I am Jack of Swords.
Uh-oh.
And today we are clowning around. Or are we cloning around?
Using pawns. We are cloning around.
Yes.
Wow. So we're not clowning. Well, we're just jesters.
I think we're doing both.
Which is clowns that went to a university, right?
Clown school. Clown school.
Okay, so cloning is in the news.
Yes, it is in the news. That's why we're talking about this today. So recently we had an American company from Texas. We're not going to say the name of it because I mean,
We don't want to be sued by
libel.
Yeah.
No.
Even though it's in the news.
Not happening in this channel. But yes, you can find it all over Google because it came up with a what?
A fire wolf. A wolf on fire.
Yeah. You know, I thought he came up with a woolly mouse first.
Oh. A mouth with
with wolves.
With
Wool.
woolly.
Like a hairy mouth.
It's like a mouse that needs a haircut.
Yeah.
A hippie mouse.
Yeah.
So they came up with a fire wolf.
Yes, after they made the woolly mouse.
Okay, so they're on a roll.
Yes.
So
they go boom, 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 woolly mouse.
So if you
Direwolf, bum, bum, bum.
So this laboratory, this private company in Texas, a few months or week ago, they came out with a woolly mouse.
Yes, my mouse.
Oh, not
my house, not my.
Yeah, your mouth is not full of cotton.
Yeah.
It's like the the deer mouse.
Anyways, this is supposed to have been an extinct animal, right?
So first of all, they came up with this big funfair about having come up with a mouse that had long hair, and you can, when you just look at Google.
So was it an extinct animal, or they just wanted to just mess with the genes?
Yeah, they just wanted to make it interesting.
Okay.
So they're trying. Their goal is by 2026.
No, 2028.
Oh, 2028.
Yes.
By
to create a mammoth.
They wanna, and they call it not reinvent, de-extinct the woolly mammoth.
Yes.
Okay, they want to de-extinct the woolly mammoth
by cloning it.
Exactly. So, a few weeks ago or months ago, when did they come out with a woolly mouse?
Recently, it's like a week ago.
A few days ago was the pyre.
Yeah, a few days ago. Today is what, April 2025.
Yeah.
And, a few days ago,
they announced that they had come up with the extinction of the fire wolf.
Exactly. No, not fire. Dire. You keep saying fire.
It's a dire. It's not a.
Yeah. So this dire wolf is actually, not like the real dire wolf that used to be.
So
it came from a gray wolf.
Yes.
An existing gray wolf, right?
So that means that they didn't actually came up with some specimen of the long extinct dire wolf, and they took some samples of the genetic information from there, and then they clone a dire wolf. That's not what they did. They just took the present very alive gray wolf.
Yes.
And they took some information that they have come across from the direwolf, and then they basically modified.
Yes.
Modified the gray wolf.
They took one cell, injected the DNA to the other, and that's it, right? Yeah.
So it's not a gray wolf; it's the white wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, It's not, I mean, if you really think about it, it looks white.
Yeah.
I guess it's a white wolf.
So it was all over the news.
But yeah, they call it dire wolf.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay. So it's a gray wolf that looks like a dire wolf,
Exactly.
but it's actually
Yeah.
not so.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I mean, so when we looked into this woolly mouse, first of all, we saw a lot of info about it, and one of them was a YouTuber with a lot of following, Anton Petrov,
Yes.
and he just really kind of like really just
Yes. He's
criticized that company, and the most funniest. I don't know if he's Russian, but I would say Russian way. And he goes, da, da, da. For sure, it's cute. Okay, it's cute.
it is a very cute mouse. Yeah.
For sure, da, 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 it's cute.
Yes.
But, in order to go from the mouse to the mammoth that they want to create, in 2028, they're gonna have to make a big mammoth elephant
Exactly.
that does not exist to make that baby mammoth. Okay, so and he's going and he's funny. I just love the way I don't mean to just make fun of him, but he was just kind of cute himself talking about the cute woolly mouse.
So it was very easy to genetically modify a mouse to make it look with long hair.
Yeah.
That is easier than bringing back the long extinct woolly mouse.
Yeah. So he goes, da, it's cute, but hey, where's my shot of vodka? Okay, that's vidanya.
So it is he was very skeptical about what they're intending to do, and basically they will have more success as a selling those cute mouse.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So they should have at the bottom of the press release, just you can buy this mouse for you little
Because it's a cute after all. Yeah, okay.
very very cute.
Okay.
So the cloning it has been hitting the news lately because of this Texan company, but there is a long history.
It's a long history of cloning in the world. I
So
mean,
much that there is one story from the Vedas.
as far as the Mahabharata,
Exactly.
that talks about how there were some characters that were basically cloned. Okay.
Respectfully, they would call them gods. So, so they believe this.
Okay.
Some of their we don't know if they were gods or humans, right?
No way. Some of them were warriors,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
But were they, because they have like hybrid gods human, don't they? Like
Yeah, I guess
the
some do
Greeks
one,
and
some I don't know.
yeah,
You know.
monkey god and the
You just look at the pictures and you're like,
Maybe-
blue gods, blue
Yeah.
with 10,000 arms. I mean, like,
maybe they're clones. Maybe
it's a clones with what?
Maybe
Millipedes?
Shiva and Vishnu, they're
Clones with millipedes?
yeah. Wait a minute. Now I'm thinking. So, there are stories in the ancient Vedas text or Hindu text that do narrate the process of cloning,
Yeah.
right? And what did they say specifically? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Not really, but it is mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's not just once, but a few occasions.
Yes, then they describe how you should take, I guess, one cell and then inject,
Okay.
But I mean, it's not in detail,
So,
scientific detail.
and this is where are the Vedas? They going back about 3,000 years.
More, I
More.
believe. I mean,
I mean, historically,
it's the first ever written language. The
yeah,
Sanskrit, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So there, yes,
Or is it yes, or Tamil? I think,
yeah.
but Tamil, which is like the ancient Indians.
Okay.
Yes.
So they are um older than the Hebrew text, than the Old Testament, right?
Yeah.
Um, and uh, it's one of the, if not the most ancient written language, um, it is the most ancient written language,
Yes.
the Sanskrit, and that's in that language is where they have this account of the process of cloning.
Yes.
Whether they came up with that, I mean, many people will say that those anecdotes or those
No
stories
myths or
they're
whatever.
not myth, but they're a real thing. And some will say that, especially anthropologists, that it's a myth, whether they're myth or they're actual facts of history. Uh, it is. You can deny that
Yeah.
back way back then they describe something of about cloning,
Yeah.
right?
And deny all you want, but this your whole idea of cloning is all over culture.
Yeah,
I mean, from Frankenstein.
yeah. Frankenstein was the reanimation of a dead person, right?
Yeah.
With the actually they use electricity to bring him back.
Well, that's
Which
exactly how
in
the cloning.
cloning,
Yes, that's exactly what you
kind of
do.
a little jolt of
Yes, you
you
take
know,
one cell, you put the DNA, and you just put electricity, and
yeah.
there you go. Boom, voila.
So uh, there has been a lot of um, um, cultural influences of cloning, um, or a lot of movies and TV shows that mention cloning, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the movies that I really liked, it was um, in the 19 late 1980s. Michael Keaton
Yeah, I
starred
just
in
love
this
that
movie
movie. Man,
called
it
Multiplicity,
was funny.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a construction contractor
Yeah.
that it's very busy in his business, and he's fixing everybody's houses except his.
Yeah.
So that's when the ordeal starts. He goes to somebody that clones people.
I guess a mad scientist.
Exactly.
And he says, "Yo, okay, I want to clone myself so I
Yeah.
can just
So I can have him work on my house while I work on other people's
be with
houses.
my wife."
Exactly. So he keeps on cloning himself, and I think he does like 7 or 8 copies of himself.
Yeah.
And the more he clones himself, the more problematic
Yeah.
the clones are. Okay. So
Some are good with the sex parts,
yes.
some are good with other things, but not like him. Okay.
So by the last clone, it's actually um, it's like making copies of a copy of a copy of a copy.
So
Right?
can you imagine? It's like
Very funny movie. It's a romantic comedy. Check it out. It's
But
called
by
Multiplicity.
by copy 1,000, it's like a whole lot.
And there is a a book, a novel called The Island of Dr. Moreau
Uh-huh.
that has as a center character a mad scientist,
Yes.
right? And um, that book was made into a movie.
Uh-huh.
The one I know about is actually the third version, the third movie based on that book, and that was starring Val Kilmer, who recently died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he died a few
No, he
days
didn't.
ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
and what's the
De Niro? No.
no, the other
Al
one.
Pacino?
No,
Brando.
Brando. Yeah. So Brando plays these out of control mad scientist, and Val Kilmer is one of his aides, and they have a little mini me.
Yeah.
You know that mini me is Dominican, was Dominican. It's a little and he's considered the shortest person in the 20th and 21st century. He died at the age of 26, No, no, he died in 2020. I don't know. Um, well, I don't know exactly when he died, but he died at a fairly young age, and his character, along with the Mando Brando character, is Lampoon in South Park.
Uh huh.
In South Park, in the early episodes, early seasons of South Park, they have a character called Alphonse Mephisto. Alphonse, Dr. Alphonse Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Yes, Alphonse Mephisto. Okay, and I'm sorry, I just covered your face, my face, and he is a um a, a mad scientist, a la Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau, um, and he's obsessed in cloning animals with four butts. Yes, for some reason, all his uh, all his um um all his cloning experiment involve um animals with a full butt. So let me read read you here from.
What's to do with it?
I don't know, but he's very obsessed. He said Dr. Mephistus has genetically engineered many different species, such as a four butt monkey, a four butt ostrich, a four butt mongoose, a mouse duck hybrid, a gorilla mosquito,
So he can.
a rabbit fish.
So they can better go number two
I
or
have
what?
yeah, you can you can pass gas and with one butt, and they can kiss your other butt, and I don't know. So this is from the South Park character. Now in the early 2000s, the came the movie about well, this was not about genetic cloning. This was about human gene manipulation, in which in the future, well, I'm talking about the movie Gattaca. Um,
Caraca. Kataka.
Gattaca. So
Caraca.
in 1997, Gattaca, Gattaca. This movie starring
What
what's
is
his
it
name?
about?
Well, it's a science fiction movie about a dystopian future in which um, babies are not born natural anymore. Babies are genetically engineered. Okay.
We might
Uh,
get there one day.
and if you, there are couples that refuse to having so the default is genetically engineer babies, and uh, only genetically engineered babies will have opportunities. They will have the good jobs. There's lots of universities in sports and everything because they are, I mean, enhanced human beings. And but there are couples that refuse to have genetic engineered babies. They have some ethical, moral objections to that, and the the main character in the story is actually a normal or natural uh, baby. Um, his the name of the actor is Ethan Hawke, and he makes a deal with a genetically engineered uh, man
Mhm.
who happens to be in a wheelchair. This genetically engineered human had an accident and he ended up in a wheelchair. So Ethan Hawke is paying money to this genetically engineered man to collect all his samples, his hair samples, saliva, skin, so he can pass as genetically engineered
Mhm.
and be able to have um, a working society, go to school, and that's where the
But so I mean, you think eventually that movie,
this is one. Okay, so we're
you know,
they're not cloning human beings. They're genetically engineering human beings, and the cloning human beings. There is more of a objection to that than genetically engineering human beings. Um, um,
but so that's all in the lore of the
yeah,
folks,
this is
right?
the
So
stuff going into the culture. Um, now we mentioned about the ancient scripts mentioning the um, cloning. Now where we have a huge uh, development in cloning. It was just about something that we call the
It
Dolly.
was like, in the 90s. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
Dolly.
they made it happen.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
what this in the 1996 was it?
96 in 1996, and he was Scottish.
Oh, it was from Scotland.
No, it was in England, but they were Scottish scientists.
Okay,
They cloned
they
a
clone a sheep.
and they from the cell of a breast. That's why they called it Dolly after Dolly Parton.
No way, you're kidding me.
Yes way.
So,
Yes way.
uh, so they. Oh no,
Yeah.
oh, no.
Yeah.
I never wondered why they call it Dolly. It was just
Because
this
he
is
was
the,
from a cell from the mammary gland.
the memory gland of the sheep
So and
that they
who
were trying
at
to
that
clone.
time had the biggest mammary glands?
No,
That's who? Our good old Dolly Parton.
Jolie. Oh no, no, that's no. Cat is scientist? No, no. Okay, no. That don't do that again. Okay,
No.
they didn't do that again. They didn't. No,
Are you kidding? They're
I
still
mean,
cloning animals.
they, they didn't. They didn't name the clone after actual women that we know.
That we know of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're just calling them all kinds of,
Now that's the girl from the
you
beach,
know,
the
porn actresses. I don't know.
corn accent. That would be very corny. Yeah. So no Pamela Anderson sheep. No. Baywatch. No. Okay. So okay. Wow. That's something I didn't know. But Dolly, um, I thought until now that she had lived a very happy life in a zoo or in a petting zoo, right?
Yeah.
Something happened to Dolly. Dolly had arthritis.
Yeah, I mean, she had a happy arthritic life.
Yes, and she also had some other health issues related to the cloning.
Well, arthritis. Arthritis, will just, eventually mess you up.
That's not a good thing. So and she
And she eventually,
died
you know,
not in her old age but very young
yeah,
for a sheep.
exactly. Not too long after, I suppose. I mean, like, because she was cloned, and clones have defect. I'm sorry,
Now I mean, okay, we've been doing stuff to plants, right, for a long time, but that's you know, genetically modified foods.
Yes.
But cloning mammal, well, Dolly was the first mammal to be cloned,
Yes, the first mammal.
and that was a big breakthrough,
Exactly.
right? So that's a more difficult thing to do than to do it to plants,
Yeah.
right? So that's why the whole hoopla about
Yeah.
okay.
But then from a sheep, there was a South Korean doctor, the one who sucked,
Oh, what's his name?
the one who sucked.
Juan who sucks. Nah, that sounds like Mexican doctor.
Juan, Huang Wu Suck.
Juan who suck.
Yes,
Okay.
Huang Wu Suck. Okay, so the one who sucked.
So he was a big deal in South Korea in what
Because
decade are we
he
talking about?
created the first dog, clone
Clone
dog in 2004.
in 2004.
Okay.
And that was a huge thing in South Korea until he got in trouble with the law.
Yes.
And what was that?
Because he was,
Harvesting.
harvesting from his coworkers, like.
Oh no.
Yeah, like cells.
He was getting
From
generic
his female,
material
from his female workers.
Oh, okay. Is this a SEX?
No, he was just injecting them with fertility drugs
Okay,
so
so
that
they're
they
hanging out.
ovulate.
They're hanging out, and he's with the syringe. They got poops. Like what? What was that? Oh, it's a mosquito. Yeah, nothing to see here. And he's put his syringe behind his back. No, he had actually asked for permission to collect genetic material.
It was more like a forced permission because he was known to be a little bit too,
Okay, so
yeah, like
there is
kind of like a cult, like a cultish kind of
there is a documentary on Netflix
boss.
called
Yes,
what's the name of the
King of Clones.
King of Clones. This is documentary in Netflix and it came out in 2023. So the reason why he got in trouble is because um, he he was a big deal and he was a celebrity in South Korea. He had a lot of power, and he talked his female co-workers into going along with his plans.
Yes.
Now, there is a problem of power imbalance at the workplace, right?
He was the boss.
Exactly.
What, they were going to say no?
Exactly. So that's where did these women have the freedom to say no to him, or were there pressure into saying yes because that's the only way that careers will be advanced, or maybe they will be punished? Maybe he didn't do any threat, just by
No.
they will do anything that he asked because they implied fear of hey,
Losing a job.
exactly, you know, how
You
how
know?
do you say no to them to maybe the Einstein of your generation,
Exactly.
right?
You know,
And he's your boss on top of that.
especially he had gained international fame at that point, and I mean, they were going to say no to God.
So
Really?
he would the process was that he would inject women with
Fertility drugs.
fertility drugs so they can well, he was
Ovulates more. I guess like bloom bloom bazooka ovulation. Bloom bloom.
so he had to collect the eggs.
Yeah.
He wanted eggs. He went to legitimate fertility clinics to collect eggs, and they told him no because they had some issues or concerns about his experiments, even though he was very respected. So the only way that he could collect eggs was by going to his co-workers.
Yeah.
Um,
And this journalist just basically just called him out.
but also there was some falsifying results. Was there any issue like that?
Yeah, he tended to do that too.
He was
like-
claiming more.
Like viability, more success to these cloning
Okay,
trials.
yeah.
Right in front of his own peers, his own co-workers.
Yeah.
He said, no, you need to just falsify those numbers and hike
He
them
was
up.
falsifying results.
Yes.
And he was forcing his underlings to sign off on his
And lie for him, basically.
exactly.
Yes.
And there was a big whistleblower
Yes.
that came out, and that's where everything unraveled.
Yes.
But even after that,
he got hired by some people
in the Middle East,
in the Middle East.
one of those very, very, very super, very wealthy
Yeah,
companies.
to clone their very good camels, because apparently they have
Had a prestige camel. That was,
they have
very-
camel races.
They have camel races, yes.
Over there in
They
the
race
Middle
camels.
East. They
That's the
race
thing.
camels, just like you race horses. In the
Yeah, but they seem to run by themselves. They don't have jockeys on top of them.
Yeah, they by themselves, no
Yeah.
jockeys. I never know.
No.
You see like all kinds of blah blah blah, like foam, and he's just going at it. You gotta get there.
Yeah. Is there a little rabbit going in front of them? No.
They don't need rabbits to run after. That's for the dogs.
Oh, that's the hound dog.
Greyhounds.
No. they, what are they again? What kind of dogs?
Yeah, greyhounds.
Greyhounds. Okay, so they're not. So they feel the need to run for some reason.
I guess they just they make them so thirsty. They need to get to the next oasis to get water. I'm thirsty. Gotta get there.
And apparently this is a
It's a common
popular
practice.
sport
Exactly.
in
Very
some rich countries in the Middle East.
Yes, exactly. So
We won't say because we don't want to die.
exactly. So they had this really good camel. They had this really unbelievable good race camel that died on them, and the local vet, had
Presence of mind.
presence of mind to just say, cut the gonads.
Yeah.
Gonads
The
real quick
jewels,
and free, yes, and freeze them quickly.
the marbles.
Yes. So, and they froze them until they heard about the one who sucked.
Okay.
You know?
An Australian vet. He was Australian, right?
Yeah, who
The one who was taking care of
yes,
the camels,
yes.
and he got the call. Hey, the prize camel
Yes.
in history,
We need you to clone it.
and his first instinct was
Yeah.
cut his jewels
Yeah.
and put him on ice. Cut
But,
his jewels and put him on ice.
but
And they kept him on ice for 2 years
yes,
until they came across the
the
good,
one who sucked.
good South Korean doctor, and he cloned the
Yes.
and they're like 7, 8 of them.
It's not.
Oh no! Oh,
It's like 100.
it's a whole bunch of them.
Bunch of 'em, like a whole farm, worth of,
It's prize camels,
yeah.
and they're brown camels for like what's the I mean, they're very fast,
Yes.
but
and
they look different
They
too.
were huge. They were like, it was like this huge.
They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger camels. Mud runs.
on
I got her. But they're full of muscles. These
yeah,
camels
like, on steroids.
Yeah.
It looked like, he was on
they
steroids,
look
that
like
camel.
yeah.
Yeah, so imagine, a camel like that racing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, froth, froth, froth.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm,
You know?
I'm not a gilly camel.
Get down to the water.
So he served the South Korean scientist served a year and a half in prison or suspended prison. He was.
I'm not
he
even
went to
sure if he went on to prison.
Well, he went through the judicial system. He was found guilty, and you can go to the documentary. It's fascinating documentary, The King of Clones.
Yes, the king of clones.
Okay. I don't remember if he served sentence, but he was found guilty of
Yeah.
ethical and law breaking.
Yes, but even afterwards, he was still called on to go clone a mammoth over there in in the Arctic. Yes, they found a
Russia,
I don't know where they found this thing.
Yeah.
But it was
Siberia. Wasn't it Siberia?
That's where they want to bring
to
the mammoth
Oh,
into.
okay.
That's the
But they didn't
environment.
find the
But I'm not
the
sure. If
remnants.
I'm not sure if it was Siberia, but it was like under like a pile of ice somewhere, maybe the pole. Oh no, North Poles. I don't know exactly. But it's all in the news. Everybody can Google this thing.
Okay.
So
So
they found a baby mammoth under ice, and he was really well preserved. Hair intact, everything intact. So they basically got him, this guy, the one who sucked, to go and get some samples again.
wow.
Yeah.
So even though after his legal troubles, he's been busy.
Yes,
Okay. And he's around still.
he's around. I
Hey,
mean,
maybe he'll clone himself.
I'm sure he's having dealing with, the poor thing,
Oh, yeah.
Snov, number one.
You think he's cloning Putin?
Maybe Putin is already cloned. You don't know.
Mm. Hey, bare-chested man a clone. Okay, so it's it has been demonstrated that cloning mammals is possible.
It's
and
very easy, in fact.
It's actually very easy, right?
Yes, they say it's very
It's
easy.
more difficult to bring back long extinct species.
Yes.
But it's very easy if you have a pet chicken.
Yeah,
It's very easy to clone a chicken.
you can clone your.
Actually, we have an industry in the U.S.
Yes,
What is it that they do?
Viagen in the U.S.
What's the name of the company?
Viagen.
Via Jane.
Yes, Viagen is one of them, and even in China,
What do they do?
they clone pets.
They clone pets.
Okay.
So if you have some, coins around, and you have the misfortune of one of your favorite pets passing away, you can go instead of doing something for
And,
somebody.
and this guy, that's what he was doing mainly. That's how he got known. The one who sucked, he was cloning pets for for people in countries that is illegal to
Okay.
clone anything. Like in France, it's illegal
Okay.
to clone anything. Okay. So, a lot of, these people, like in France, they would just call, South Korea or all these people with these places where it's allowed, to clone these beloved pets that
So you telling me that
that
right
either
now
died recently or
they're in the process
in the
of
process
passing.
of dying, like they're sick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
So right now, if you have lots of money,
yes,
you have a pet that is sick or is passing, or you just want to hedge your bet and just say, okay, Lassie is 16 years old. He's okay right now, but I want to make preparations for when he passes.
right.
You can go to these companies
That's right.
and
Uh,
collect the genetic material.
Yeah, and then it would be like like an ear or something.
Usually it's an ear, right?
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause there's a lot of information in the ear.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if no, the cartilage. It's about the
Oh,
cartilage.
it's not because you tell me stuff and I know it. Because every time you tell me, I get information, right? So, but the cartilage,
the cartilage, for some reason is
Has a
more
lot-
viable
Okay.
to clone.
oh, it's more viability.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. So, this is a thing. It's a thing.
So you pay like 100K or 200K, depending on who you talk to, and you get your pen clone, your pet cloned. Isn't that what Barbara Streisand did?
Yes. Yeah. Not just her, but but it made the news because celebrities,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, if you can clone pets, can you clone KFC? Can you have clone chickens over?
I don't know. Maybe it's already done.
So it is cloning for food happening right now.
Yeah, that's a good question.
We don't know.
We don't know, but maybe we'll talk about that a little later. Let's talk about the different kinds of cloning.
Okay. So there are 5 different cloning methods. One, it's called the restriction enzyme ligation, and that's the method that they use for. That's the easiest one and the oldest method of cloning, and that's probably what they did with Dolly the sheep.
Yes.
Okay, and there is gateway cloning. There is Gibson cloning, Gibson assembly. Nothing to do with.
That sounds like you're in a factory and you're just assembling pieces.
It's not a place where they assemble Mel Gibson, right?
Okay.
Gibson is safe; he's not being assembled.
Yeah.
But then there's also the Golden Gate assembly.
That sounds like what
San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge.
I don't know, some cults. I know, like the Rael guy.
Oh.
Anybody knows about Rael?
Oh, the Royalist or what?
Raelians.
Royalians.
Yes.
There's a charismatic French person
Yeah.
who became a cult leader
Uh-huh.
back in the 60s.
The 70s.
Oh, in the 70s, Boogie Boogie.
He claimed that he got visited by UFOs, and they told him that he was the last prophet.
The last prophet.
Yes, and
he's into cloning. He's a fan of cloning
because he says those ETs basically told them that that's the future of mankind.
Cloning is the future of mankind.
Yes, cloning is the future of mankind, and basically, and ETs are going to help us with that.
Hmm.
Okay, so they need some beautiful, of course, beautiful young women
Oh, they have to
to
be beautiful.
to to help them clone. Whether
So let me guess.
whether the natural way or the clone
Let me
way.
guess. This good cult leader is sacrificing himself
So-
in order to save humanity by going to different beautiful women
yeah.
and collecting their DNA samples. Him personally. This yeah, he deserves a medal. Yeah. And
I think he already gave himself a
he
medal.
deserves all our money. What else do they want from us? Our money, our obedience, and
Yeah.
freedom, and our
I mean,
wings.
heck, he's the half brother of Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
That's what he says.
Okay, so he's a fan of cloning.
Yes, and he says that he actually saw, he's in front of that the aliens took him to their planet, and once there, they actually cloned his mother right in front of his face.
Oh, so he has an Oedipus going on.
Oedipus complex.
Did he kill his father?
Don't-
Clone his
You're
mother?
not supposed to that.
Oh,
I'm alive.
Did he?
I'm alive.
Did he off? Did he off in YouTube speak? His
Yeah.
dad
Did he
cloned
did he unalive his own
alive.
his own?
Let's hope not. Let's hope.
Anyways,
Now, he's not, when he speaks of the future of humankind being cloning, he's not too far off of what something that is going on right now, which is organ cloning.
yes, but going back to him real quick to finish the
Okay.
story with him, it was like I think it was in 2000. He had this biochemist, this French biochemist. He hired this lady, to basically just clone, a human being, and she pretended, for the longest time that she actually cloned a human being, a little girl named Eve.
Okay.
Okay. But when afterwards, when everybody, the media, everybody was like, "Oh, where is this clone being?" It's like, I don't know. She left. She left.
Now, that makes me think, if you, cloning is not as difficult because the science is out there, right?
Yeah.
So if you are a good, a capable scientist, you can accomplish this. Now, there are, I'm supposed that there are some international laws that have some strict rules about human cloning, and but those laws only apply to those who obey the law, right? So if you are a charismatic cult leader who likes to collect DNA from beautiful women, you're not bound by this laws.
He got chased out of France eventually
Well,
because of that
he's
kind of
jumping
crazy
countries,
stuff.
isn't he?
Yeah, he
He
went to
ended up,
Canada
and
first.
then he went to other countries.
Now he's in Japan.
He's in Japan now.
Yes, living his old, age, beautiful life.
Yeah.
You know.
Huh.
But anyways, this biochemist,
Mm.
they chased her again, and she kept, pretending that she created not just one, but two and three, a third human clone. And there's a court in Florida in, I think, 2003, that basically just called her and said, okay, where are the proofs?
Why will the court have any interest in verifying this claim?
Because it's an international.
Okay, did she do it in Florida?
I don't think so.
But Floridians, they like to have fun.
I don't know. Listen, let's not dog Floridians. We love you, okay?
Something happened anywhere in the world, and if you're from Florida, you want to have some fun.
But the court in
Spring
Florida was
break
like,
is coming.
where the first one? Where's the second one? Where's the third one? Where the heck are these clowns? And she's like, I don't know. They all just left, I guess. I don't know. So from then on, the court said, you know what? This. You're not for serious. You're not
Okay.
real. For real, girl. Get out of here.
So the Florida court definitely has made a judgment to call BS on this science.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that puts an end to that. So there is no cloning going on by
You don't know
this lady.
because I mean, Sinagen,
A judge from Florida.
Sinagen in China, you know, there's no telling what they're doing.
Well, this judge, before he or she made this judgment, just finished wrestling alligators and
Cloning alligators.
yeah. Okay, so don't mess with Florida. Okay. Um. So
So you know, you would you mentioned 5 different cloning methods,
Yeah.
but we were up to like 2, right?
yeah.
What's the 3 others?
There is the the topo cloning.
Yes.
The Golden Gate assembly. That's the last one I have mentioned. Yeah, those are the 5 different topo cloning, Golden Gate assembling, the Gibson assembling, the gateway cloning, and the restriction enzyme ligation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but
If you want to find out about those, look them up.
yeah,
We don't have much time to
yeah.
go into detail.
But which one of them is doing organ cloned organs for
Oh.
therapeutic purposes?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyways, they use one of these 5 methods to also
Grow organs.
yes
So
clone.
back in the 90s, there was a young man that lost his organ.
Who?
Bobbitt, that guy Bobbitt. His wife
You touched it.
chopped up his organ
Yeah,
and
he's
threw
member.
it in the street,
He's member.
but they reattached them.
They reattached it.
So he
And then he went on to create corn
Yeah,
videos.
was a corn actor after that. But if your lady friend cuts your organ,
Your appendage.
you don't appendage. You don't have to worry about finding it because they can grow one for you.
That's right. Out of
Yeah.
stem cells.
Stem cells,
Mhm.
and you can have maybe a better organ,
Yeah.
appendix,
Appendage.
peninsula.
Yes. Yeah, but the way it's very controversial because of the fact that some of them want to use embryonic cells, all the Red Party in America is like, oh no, don't touch
Yeah,
babies,
the ethical religious.
don't touch don't touch
objection.
babies.
Well, now, do they have feelings?
Listen, we are not going to the pro-life and whole
If I
discussion.
clone my organ, would you have feelings?
Maybe your appendage will.
Would it want to go on itself and become a porn actor?
Your appendage will.
Just the organ, nothing else. Maybe we'll open an OnlyFans account
Yeah.
and just make money from me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not do that because. All right. So the issue with the ethical issues with organ cloning, there are people for and people against, but it seems like lately, as of late, the argument for organ cloning is gaining approval, right?
Yes.
And is there there's no successful case yet, is it? There's just working concept right now.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't look into that, but I wouldn't pass. Like some big shot CEO. Paying big money to have a liver transplant. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like in North Korea. I don't know.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
there's no telling.
yeah. I wonder if in the future, you see in your driver's license, you have you can designate organ donor. You can also ask you, hey, would you want to be your organ be cloned? No?
Yeah. Wow. Yikes.
Or be cloned.
I mean,
Yeah.
like that would really
That's
creep me out. Anyways.
okay.
Yeah.
So now, uh, now are we eating clones?
Yeah, because now there's not only just a therapeutic thing in
Mhm,
cloning.
mhm.
There's also as we said before, cloning animals for farming.
Okay.
So that means that we might be eating clones.
Um, as of 2008, the FDA approved the use of cloned animals and or products, animal products for human consumption. Right
Mm.
now, so technically, you could be chomping up a on a clone Donald's,
Chop, 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 chop.
okay, or a delicious clone wings. But
And then breastises.
yes, so the it is very unlikely because there are to clone a chicken wings, delicious chicken wings, or a burger will be more expensive than just doing it the old-fashioned way by playing sexy music for chicken to mate, right? Um, so, um, but but it is legal. It is legal. A food company can engage in human cloning for not human, animal cloning for
Animal cloning
human
for human
consumption.
consumption.
Okay, and they don't need to label it.
Yes,
So
they don't.
maybe in your ground, whatever, there is clone whatever in there, and they don't have to put it on the label, right? Um, but there is there labeling for GMOs, genetically
Yes,
modified?
there is.
Okay,
Yes,
I know for sure that
for plants. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, is there any change coming on that? How do I know if a bag of tomatoes I'm buying um at the supermarket is GMO or non-GMO?
I think it's with the codes that is on the labels.
Okay. But they don't have to say this is GMO.
No,
Okay.
it's a very
So you have to become
you have to be like a
investigative.
private
Yeah.
investigator, and really just decrypt all those numbers on the barcode.
You have to be a real nerd, a food nerd, the worst kind.
Just like we were with the bees,
Yes.
video. Okay, we were being like food
We were
nerds.
the honey nerds.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
But
So
in these codes, if you want like organic ones, you would have to start with a 9.
okay, okay. So there is a product multi-digit number. Um, Sometimes when you go to the supermarket and you purchase something, and it won't scan, but underneath it will have a 4-digit or a 5-digit number. You can just enter it into the machine, and it will tell you, oh, bananas, right?
Yeah.
4011. That's bananas. But that's conventional bananas. It doesn't know if it's organic, non-organic, GMO, or whatever. It's just bananas. 4011. Everywhere in the US, 4011 is bananas. Just learn that from us. Yes. Um 4 is for conventional. The first number, the number 4 is for conventional. It is agnostic as far as GMO,
Mhm.
organic, or conventional. So but for if you want to know if something is organic, usually they will have they will say organic. right?
Yes.
But also you can find out through the digits. What's the
Yes,
digit number for
exactly. That's
Janet?
another way, more short way of knowing
It's
that.
9, right?
Exactly, by the number 9.
Now
That
8.
number 9 is, like an ultimate proof.
Okay. Now what's the number 8? The first digit 8.
It used to be for genetically modified, but now they like not so sure anymore because they're really just doing some monkey business with that.
Okay. So they're trying to the regulatory agencies are succumbing to lobbyists by um, getting rid of labeling standards. So pretty soon, you won't be able to tell if something has GMO in it or not.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's like God wanted it to be. It's a free market capitalism.
That's how the good Lord wanted it to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just in case he would not give us, breastises and appendages and stuff. Okay, I don't know. It's just
So,
me. Okay.
um, so those are the disappearing labeling standards in the U.S. The EU still has some very strong
Yes.
disclosure requirements.
Yes.
So if you wanna eat, well, okay.
Yeah, and that's why Orange and Chief is complaining that
Yeah.
the EU does not want the American meat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because they cloned, and then the EU kind of knows about this.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, cows were not happy. They weren't mad.
Yeah, they were.
They went super mad.
They were hangry.
And actually, they named a disease after them, mad cow disease.
That's right. If any,
Okay.
if any of you were, not old enough to, live through that, it was really crazy.
Cows were not.
Going through Europe and coming back through immigration and customs, and they were like making, testing you all over for mad cow disease. It wasn't fun.
Yeah. So since 2002, Europe is not taking beef from the United States.
Yes.
And the cattle business in the United States is not happy about that.
Neither is
And-
Orange and Chief.
Yes. So that's one of the reasons he imposed those hefty tariffs on the EU, because they're saying that this is similar to a tariff on American beef.
Yes.
Now, tariff is one thing. Restriction standards of food safety standards is a different thing.
Yes, exactly.
So that's an argument. It's a clever use of words and fuzzy terminology. But the fact is that they are angry that the U.S. have much more strict standards when it comes to consumer protections
Yes.
for food consumption.
And the Europeans are like, hey, if you want to eat caca, it's up to you, but we don't want to eat caca.
Yeah, they don't eat. Cows are mad. They eat happy cows. Actually, they have something called la vache qui rit. They have the laughing cows. In Europe, apparently,
right.
cows are laughing.
It's a cheese.
Yes.
The brand of a cheese in France that is called La Vacherie, meaning the laughing cow. I think it's even sold
Yeah,
here.
now they're selling those.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it in some stores. They're not mad. They're not the
They're not mad at all.
vache qui...
Because they're smiling and
They're
then.
full vache. La vache qui sont folles. Okay. Now, why is this company from Texas so into cloning?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We mentioned that they wanted to de-extinct animals.
Yes.
Why would you want to de-extinct an animal?
It raises a legit issue because, I mean, with all these extinct species or the endangered species,
Yes, let's talk about endangered species first.
it brings the issue that they might be conserved for posterity.
Okay. Now, first, let's start with the species that we have that are contemporary to us. And some of those species are in danger of going into extinction.
Yes.
Why is it a bad thing if they go into extinction?
Well, because I mean,
They're
it's
part of the ecological system.
exactly it's a whole,
So plants, animals,
ecosystem.
yeah,
Without them, we
yeah.
going to basically
So
be no eventually.
there is a
You
special
know,
type of snake that takes care of some little mammal, and that mammal
yeah, they feed on this one. This
feeding
one
that
feeds
little
on that
mammal.
one. This one feeds on this
Yes,
one.
exactly.
We
The
all kind of
equilibrium.
depend on each other.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's a symbiosis.
Yes.
So it's that's why
Yeah.
it's important to go into conservation.
Yeah.
But cloning, I don't know.
Now, so that's trying to keep the species that we have, keep them alive for the sake of equilibrium in the ecological system. Now, bringing a species that passed a few thousand years ago, and that's problematic. Why?
Because I mean, there's no context anymore. I mean, like the very reason they extinct is because whatever that habitat that they used to have is no more. So why you're gonna bring them back from extinction to eat what stuff that they don't have anymore?
They can
It's
eat,
a
they can eat us.
yeah, they must just go that route instead.
Delicious, just
Evolve into some major like a super duper Tyrannosaurus or whatever.
yeah,
you know,
yes,
Jurassic Park all over again.
yeah. Oh, Dr. Mephisto.
Mephisto. Yes.
So, the argument against that's their selling point is that they want to preserve the ecological system, and uh, they're good do-gooders. They're not in it for the money, right?
Yes, it's mainly ideological because I
Now,
mean
do we believe them?
it's like creating this utopia. I mean the instinct they're gone. Okay, what are we gonna do? Bring back the ghosts of the past.
Yeah. But
I mean, yes, I don't mind doing it. If the conditions were okay, the environment and everything. I mean, that's a
they
laudable
do
cause.
say that there is a reason why they went extinct, and I'm particularly talking about species that were in extinction before we figured out
That they were extinct.
the industrial revolution,
Yes,
when we actually went
into like
crazy.
speedy, extinction of all a
Yeah,
lot of species.
human activity definitely has caused the extinction of some animals by hunting or
And lack
other,
of destroying their habitats, we
yeah,
just going into
exactly,
pristine habitats where
yeah,
these things live, and all of a
yeah,
sudden we building all kinds of
mansions and
yeah, exactly, and then these things don't have anywhere to
yeah,
feed or whatever to
okay.
live in
So
anymore.
yes, so there are species that have gone away because of us, because humans, you know, made it happen. Now, there are species that have passed away not because of the fault of human beings,
Hmm.
but because the environment changed
Hmm.
and they didn't keep up with the environment.
Yeah, exactly.
So those ones, we should not have them around, right?
Well,
Even if we know how to do it,
unless it's like in
they
some
will
like
not fit in our current ecological
I
system.
mean, like I'm sure like Krasnov, over there in Russia is trying to bring back the mammoth in Siberia.
Yeah,
You know,
the mammoth has been gone for a while now, right?
yeah. I mean, I guess it's the ice over there that they think is good for the mammoth. But what is he gonna eat?
Yeah, maybe Siberian prisoners. Maybe they're gonna, instead of these political dissenters falling from windows, they're just gonna feed them to mammoth. Let's stop talking about Putin because we don't want to fall. Okay. The so okay. Uh, if you have seen the YouTube videos of this company that is bragging about the woolly mouse and the
Direwolf.
direwolf, they are um, uh, doing a good PR work on their the benefits to humanity and the environment. Right now, uh, should we believe him? That's up to you. But I am a little bit skeptical about um, whether good extension. They say that
Intention.
yeah,
Yes, you know,
some horrible things happen.
yeah, the best intentions lead to hell.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, in YouTube say, you know.
Yeah. Um, uh, sometimes entrepreneurs and um, very smart and creative people form companies uh, uh, to solve a problem in humanity, right?
Yeah.
Or they think they're gonna they're creating a solution to a to a problem. When they start raising funds for their to grow their businesses, they run into these things called venture capitalists.
Yes.
Venture capitalists are private money, people that get together and they put some, uh, very large amount of money behind nascent companies to help them out, to help them grow.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with a strings attached, and is that they are supposed to be receptive to their business plans.
Yes.
Sometimes the business plans have nothing to do with making this world a better place. Okay,
So it's all about making money.
it's about
Dala.
making rich people even richer.
Yes.
Okay,
Dala.
so this
Mezcala.
company from Texas that has little cute mouse and adorable wolf, maybe come across some billions and billions of dollars from some nefarious business people that want to make their money grow, and they might tell them, "Hey, cloning humans or cloning, bringing up a baby dinosaur is not such a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wouldn't you like to have a baby, uh, whatever Soros,
Yeah,
right?
or a clone slave.
Oh my, you said clone slave. Wow, wow.
You know,
Clone soldiers.
yeah, clone soldiers, clone anything.
A clone basketball player.
Instead of having, those dolls, you know, the sex dolls.
No. SES with a clone? No. No.
See, those sex dolls shops were all gonna go out of business. Let me tell you.
So we definitely need international laws that everyone will get behind in order to prevent some
But
moral and ethical issues.
yes, but heck,
But
we're
those
only
laws-
jesters, okay?
Yeah.
We're not gonna tell the world what to do, are we?
Especially not North Korea.
Exactly.
Okay. Human cloning is a good idea to do human cloning.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, right?
Are you?
No, I'm not. I don't want it. I mean, there is human cloning going on right
Where?
now, all over the place,
Well,
in every honeymoon place.
well, they do
The
say.
old-fashioned,
The thing is, in nature naturally clones. You know
Yeah.
that. Even
Yeah.
bacteria, some
Yeah.
bacteria clone themselves. Okay.
okay.
Like I think it's E. coli or something like that.
Well,
They clone themselves.
isn't regular human birth a
So
clone?
I guess it's part of nature, but I mean, let nature do its thing. Why do people want to?
Genetic material is passed on through regular birth, right? So we already
And identical twins also.
Yes.
They're kind of clones, aren't they?
yeah. So nature is doing its things, but should we intervene in that process, and why?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Will these people have owners? Like a clone baby, would you be able to own people?
Mm.
Would you be able to?
because they're not gonna have any rights, so they're going to start a big slave system.
Yeah, there's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, they're clones, okay, so they don't have rights, so okay, so why imagine they're all gonna be slaves again, all over
Yeah,
again. It's gonna,
yeah.
I mean, like,
Okay.
you know,
Um. Uh. What is the Well, there is a sort of a cloning thing. The transhuman people.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like some people just, because those that right now are thinking of just, basically recreating themselves, through, computers, like computer chip after they die because they don't want to die. They want to have, immortal life.
There are super rich people that don't want to die
Exactly. So they
because life
want,
is awesome.
they want, the consciousness to
They
be
want to preserve the consciousness
into like some chip,
and put it in
robotic chip.
yeah, and then have a some kind of robot,
Yeah,
implant those personality and consciousness into that robot.
exactly.
But you could also clone a human body with a blank brain
Exactly.
and transfer those personality and basically the soul to
Exactly.
that blank human. It's like those
But
cassette.
do those chips really just capture the soul of the person, though? That's the no. That's the big question. I
It
don't
will
think
have all
so.
the memories.
Memories and everything, but the soul is
Yeah.
energy. It's gone.
Yeah.
See ya. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But anyways,
Wait a minute. So, could it be that at some point we'll be so advanced in AI that we create these super uh, human, super intelligent machines that are in multiple more intelligent than us humans, and will they figure out how to do a successful human cloning, right? And or replace us,
yeah.
right? Replace us or um what's the word that um do battle with them.
Do battle? What do you mean? What do battle?
Well, we do some clone soldiers and they fight
The what? The robots?
the
The what?
robots.
Yeah.
It's coming, right? The AI is going after us,
Listen,
and we need to have a army of clones to battle the.
Yeah, so that's right. Hey people, all in all, in conclusion of all this world might be ending up with full of like creatures that are brought back from extinction, so de-extinct creatures, or they might be full of clones eating clones and robots cloning everything for clones to eat. But fear not, because when the going gets tough,
We get the cackling going.
we get the cackling going. When the
Going gets tough.
get the cackling going, people. Bye.
Don't eat clone food, okay? Do that.